Greetings to you. Thanks for joining us on Channel Sports on Sunday. I'm Yemi Adebayo, sitting in for your regular anchors. And of course, on the show today, there's a lot to talk about. I won't be doing that alone. You're going to see a face that you're used to seeing. I'm going to bring him in very soon so that you see that electric smile that he always brings to TV. There's a lot to talk about. As I said, we're going through the English Premier League, the CAF Under-17, African Cup of Nations, Formula One. Of course, the Miami Grand Prix. In a few hours, we'll know what's going to happen. Madrid Open as well. For the ladies, there's a winner. For the guys, we'll know later today. And so that's the outlook of the show. So sit back, relax, as we take you through all of this for your weekend pleasure. It gives me pleasure to bring in Ken Oshonaga. He joins us. Usually he's on this side, but of course, it's good to know that, of course, he joins us and it brings a whole lot into what we're doing. Greetings to you, Ken. Thanks for always being there.
Yemi, you're welcome. And you are looking chubby. I know the rest have done you you know, a whole lot of good. But then it is Channel Sport on Sunday, and then we kick it off from here.
All right, I want to get your thoughts before I bring in our man who's seated right next to me. I said a whole lot of things about the things to look forward to, but for you, what are the high points? What are the things that has happened? What are the things you're looking forward to for this weekend, even though we just have only Sunday?
What are we looking forward to? The EPL, at a point it was like Arsenal and their fans were saying, catch us if you can. We're looking at since 2004. And this is quite befuddling because for a team to win the league unbeaten, they went unbeaten in that season, 22 wins, 16 draws of the 38 matches. They didn't lose anyone. And after then, they have not won the league. It is quite intriguing. So, from the change coaches, moved them from Denga, move around, went to a lot of them, and then settled at Ateta, and we're saying, look, probably this year. Nobody gave them a chance when the league started because they played, they barely qualified to play Europa last season, and then here they are, on the trot, leading the league for almost. We're talking about 38-week league, and for about 30 or so weeks, Arsenal has been on top. And people say at a point they were 8 points ahead of their nearest rivals. But here we are now, they are 4 points back. The battle is not just so that they face Newcastle today. Man City, not the normal Man City we used to know, because yesterday they went from being comfortable, and after throwing away the penalty, it was something else for them. Leeds equalized, and they were just leading there because we can say it on Pep that anything could happen. The Gunners will go down, they go to Newcastle today. If they beat themselves, you understand? If they beat themselves and get by their composure, that any City could have dropped points yesterday, that maybe if they win today, they will close that gap, that because it is now 4 points difference with equal matches. Something could say happen in the next 4 games to go. So it is now, that is what we are looking for today. And also the battle for the Champions League spot. Liverpool at one point were counted up, but look at them, they won about 5-6 games on the trot. And that tells you that, yes, they are looking to be there. They want to finish strong. United, a little bit of top them. They faced West Ham, and we are saying, can they? If they drop points at the London Stadium, right? Today, right here, it means a whole lot that all the battles are the battle for relegation, the battle for the Europa spot, the battle for Champions League spot, the battle for the title, the EPL. But that is not it. We in Nigerians, we are celebrating what is happening in Italy. We are celebrating one of our. Yemi. Let me say this. We have followed the Osimhen story from the very, very beginning on Channel Sport on Sunday. When this young man went to the Under-17, how he was spotted, Nduka Agbade and a lot of them all, they were lying to go, and they said, can we just come back and let us see what you can do? How this young man was selling pure water right there at Ojota bus stop, because of his family. And then when he break into the Under-17 team, breaking all records there. But then his transfer, that transfer also was a story of its own, because we brought in Alhaji Gafar here, we interviewed him on this show, and then they was, look, should he go to Arsenal or should he go to probably one of the Portuguese clubs? And then he went to Wolfsburg. At Wolfsburg, we saw what happened to him. On loan, injuries upon injuries, coming back, not making the team, going back to the under-19 and stuff that will say, look, will discourage a man who is coming from nowhere, a man who has nothing to fall back on, a man who was the last born and trying to carry the responsibility of the firstborn. But that is Victor Osimhen for you. All this broke down, sometime last minute, they want to sign him. He will go on loan. They will say, look, at the end of the day, say, you are not there. But Chalobah took a chance on him and paid from loan to permanence 3.5 million euros. They say, you pay. And of course, after just 1 year, they cashed in on him. From 3.5 million, they sold about 15 million, and they went straight to hell. And what do we say from there? From there to Napoli, and 3 years on, after going for 17 million euros, in fact, they are saying this man is priceless. Newcastle want to buy him. Yeah. Manchester United want to buy him. Real Madrid want to buy him. Napoli said no way. Because in Naples, I tell you this, in Naples, there are, when we talk about time, eras, we talk about the BC and the AD. 10 BC, 25 AD, 2000 and 23 AD. In Naples, there was before Maradona, and after Maradona. All the titles they won, the 2 Scudettos, the European winners they won, every UEFA Cup has to do with Maradona. Mm-hmm. He passed on. And then they named the stadium after him. And today, looking down from heaven, if in one of their posts, they said, and those looking at us from heaven, they said, it is now Victor Osimhen era. It is the Victor Osimhen era. So we are celebrating Victor Osimhen. We are celebrating Napoli's victory right here on the show today.
All right, I agree with you. There's not much to be said, but of course, we'll try our best to chip in because you've said everything, and it's good. But let me bring our man, Theophilus Agbonahan, into everything. Theophilus, greetings to you. Thanks for finding out time to be with us. It's refreshing listening to Ken give us a background story, some of the things people didn't even know about Victor Osimhen, and we're still in the celebratory mood. It happened in Naples, but Nigerians, Africans all feel part of it. I don't know what else to say.
I joined on social media and I had to tweet it out because it's a big deal. You really want to look at it. After 33 years, to put it into context, I wasn't born 33 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And that's to show you how big of a deal it is. He was Osimhen. He was on a video call with Mario Balotelli. And Balotelli told him, "You don't know what you have done."
Exactly, I was going to that.
Exactly, he said, "You don't know what you have done."
It's not sinking in yet.
Exactly, he said, "You are a champion. You can do as you like. You really don't know what you have done." I have a couple of family members in Italy. Some in Torino, some in Naples. The Naples are literally on fire. Fireworks everywhere because it's a big deal. That's a town that's crazy about football.
You are telling me keeping him? Yes. So now their result is we are not selling. But I tell you, there is this other, I'm trying to remember this movie. I think this is a Jerry Maguire. I think the Jerry Maguire of the movie where the guy said, "Show me the money."
Yeah.
When you only the money, when the money comes, I tell you this, nobody. I think I would have checked. I've not checked his length of contract, how many years there's left. Where you can renegotiate, which clauses are there, and how it went. You remember, because of like I said, the travels he has gone through playing for Dortmund, trying to make it at Wolfsburg and all those things. He grabbed at the opportunity just to move on. He's been moving on. Now he's settling down. So probably they would also say, let us go to this thing. In fact, when Napoli came from it, as if other teams didn't come for him from other leagues, but he chose to go to Napoli. But like I tell you this, there is the Novel Rich. The new kids on the block, the tiny side team, Newcastle. I mean that is one of the teams that actually is serious. People are mentioning United, people are mentioning Real Madrid, but I think Osimhen is given an inkling and he may go to Newcastle if the money, and they have the money. They only what you just saw is they just spent a little, and the EPL is already shaking. When they shake their body well, I tell you this, I don't think those in Naples will say we are not going to let him go. We're looking at him definitely. Victor will move for nothing less than £100 million.
Definitely.
I'm not talking about dollars or whatever. £100 million pounds, nothing less than that. People are talking about 150 million. A lot of figures will be there. A lot of factors will be coming in, a lot of bonuses, a lot of clauses. If he scores 20 goals, right now he's 22 goals he has scored this season. He has scored 55 goals so far for Napoli. So the people are looking at the finisher. Manchester United, they have the money. Real Madrid, they can go to the moon to Spain. We all know about the Galacticos. So basically, when you show them the money, forget this what they are saying is slogan. They are going trying to beat up to raise his price tag. Not that deep in their heart, they know it's a passing phase. He is getting bigger than Napoli. I'm sorry to say that, but that is what it is.
All right, Ken, there's no better person to ask this question, and I'm going to go back to Theo. And a lot of people are asking, Victor has done this now. Even before this, it was in the conversation if we start talking about who might be the next African footballer of the year. Now, with this, how difficult will it be for Victor to be ignored?
How difficult will it be? Because we're looking at it is the African context, and unfortunately, 100% of in the past 20 years or so, all our African footballers of the years have been plying their trade in Europe. Yeah. So right now, it is, in Europe, in terms of prestige, in terms of measuring, the African team have not won the World Cup. We will ask, okay, if they win the World Cup, okay, we'll look at you that way, because it's an individual event. If you are talking about individually, your contribution to success is what it used to be. Not that it becomes of the social media era where people want to vote and stuff like that. But then you look at it, 4 teams are left in the Champions League. So apart from winning your league, the other team is winning the Champions League, and 4 teams are left. Who is the African in Man City? Who is the African in Liverpool? So you are looking at the teams in Real Madrid. So you are looking at the teams that are still there. So Napoli got knocked out of Champions, all right. But then if Mo Salah, yesterday he scored his 100th goal for Liverpool at Anfield. He is another shining light. But as Mo Salah, what will Liverpool win this season? Nothing. They are going trophyless. 33 years of being in the wilderness of trophylessness, and then Osimhen brought them back. That is something. Within the Scudetto, he has won the foreign player of the year, not the best foreign player in Italy. The sportsman, not even football, the best foreign sportsman in Italy. He has won that particular title. He will come in here. So we are looking at those in contention. Who are those? Who are the African players who are doing well in contention? In the last 2 years, it has been Salah, it has been Mane, it has been, but this season, none of them have upped their game to the level where Victor Osimhen is. I believe that between now and December, I don't think anybody is going to take that up. This is Victor's time. And then it is also left for us to showcase him. It's also left for us to let the world know what he's doing. They're already there. So it's not as if you're not seeing it. But we must blow this trumpet for the world to say that yes, he has sounded. And if he moves a money shaking, what I mean is a big money move, that also adds to his value, that also adds to his prestige, that also adds to that, how do I say, the odds of him emerging as the best player on the African continent, of our best export so far. I think he is there. He's in pole position. I don't think that he has rivals for now.
All right. Ken doesn't think he has, but Theo, Ken said something that I'm trying to extract. Riyad Mahrez is with City.
Yes.
If Riyad Mahrez, they're going to win the league. They're going to win the league.
Definitely. It's looking like it's
painful for me to say, but they're going to win the league. And if they win the Champions League.
Yes.
We're just talking as journalists, but the fact that we're Nigerians and we're also football fans, it gets the better of us. So let's just play that scenario. If it happens that way, well, both of us are not going to be among those who would decide anyway. Yes. But do you think it would sway towards Riyad Mahrez?
Okay, normally I think it should sway, but then again we need to look at the degree or the level of importance that each player would have at least contributed to their team individually.
Yeah.
And I can hit my chest and say Riyad Mahrez has been the best player in the FA Cup this season. scored an insane amount of goals and been very instrumental for Manchester City. But then again, if you look at the way Pep Guardiola has set up City this season, he's almost relegated him to a fringe role as opposed to last season where he was one of their very key players. You know, I remember this time last season when they played the semi-finals against Real Madrid, we'll be facing again next week. He played both home and away. But this time around, I don't even think he might make the first 11, you know? So that in itself says a lot. Yes, winning the Champions League is a big deal, and obviously the good might also going to win the English Premier League. But he hasn't necessarily been their key player. I'll call a Haaland, I'll call a Kevin De Bruyne, I'll put up a Ruben Diaz before I even talk about a Riyad Mahrez. If I really want to make a case for somebody, probably I've been the Moroccan, talking about the fullback for PSG now.
Ashraf Hakimi.
Yes, Hakimi, you know, who had the World Cup, and obviously PSG going to win the Ligue 1 title. But then again, if you want to look at who has had the greatest impact for their team this season, for an African player, it has to be our own Victor Osimhen.
Okay, since we're talking impact, I mean, somebody will say it's becoming laughable. Okay, let's go Andre Onana.
Onana, okay.
Somehow,
yes,
if Inter wins the Champions League, then he gets into the conversation as well.
Yes, he would definitely get into the conversation. But he hurts me to say this, but this...
and this is not the Nigerian in you.
Not at all. Not funny, not doing about Nigerian in me. As much as it hurts me to say this, all these awards seem to favor the attacking players.
Yes.
That's just about it. And you really cannot... I really don't want to know... Even if Milan goes on to win the Champions League, they wouldn't go crazy about Nana the way everybody went crazy about Victor Osimhen. It has to show you the impact this young man has had
made
in the city of Napoli and in Italy as a whole. Is okay. I was watching a video, I think, on TikTok, and some camera guys went around the city talking to fans and asking who the 3 greatest Napoli players of all time, and you hear Diego Maradona, probably Marek Hamsik, and then Victor Osimhen. Like, after you talk to 5 people, and at least 3 out of 5 will put his name in the top 3 of all time. Yes, you might say, okay, yes, great. You might say, okay, maybe recency bias and all of that. But then again, it is what it is. After 33 years, like we say in our local point, it's not being so. It's not being so.
Well, it is what it is. We're just trying to see whether we're emotional or is the Nigerian in us that is speaking. But then you can't ignore the things Victor Osimhen has achieved, and is I mean, it's noteworthy to begin to consider him. The last time a Nigerian won was in the year 2001 called Kanu, and we've been waiting. We've been waiting. A lot of us thought Miguel had a good chance at some point. Yeah. The year they won, I think the Champions League followed it with the Europa League title. We thought it was close. Yes. Victor Moses too at some point. But this guy is in with a shout. Yeah, I
remember that season, Mikel won. We won the Nations Cup in
2013.
He also won the Champions League in 2012.
The year before that, that 2013, they also won the Europa League. So we thought it was close, but he didn't get it.
But somehow,
All right. Welcome back. Some laughs in the studio. Jimmy just joined us now. Jimmy Ogulana joins us, and let me bring him straight into it. Greetings to you, Jimmy. We shouldn't be doing this on TV. Yeah. We shouldn't be meeting like this on TV. But nice to you again.
No, exactly. It's great to be on set with you once again. It's been a long time. And, you know, there has been talks about Osimhen doing wonders, Ijaya Olusosun, that I like to call him, someone that had shown that, you know, you could come from humble beginnings and, you know, conquer the world. I mean, coming from where he has started ultimate strikers, going right up to Wolfsburg, Charleroi, Lille, Naples, Naples. I mean, it's a wonderful story, really, because it's the kind of story that you like to bring up to excite the generations that, you know, are coming forth. Especially when you look at the story from 2015, when he conquered the world, scoring 10 goals at that under-17. Well, talking about the under-17, we are seeing the likes of Laiteke, Olowo Poroku, which is one of the boys I love to talk about. We like to talk about the under-17 boys, especially when we know that they may be the future Super Eagles. Exactly. So, I mean, we've seen what Osimhen has done. It's something to be glad about, and we hope that he excites the other players, the under-20, the under-17, to do greater exploits.
All right, a few seconds so that you can get to talk about what the other guys have talked about. Now, in the conversation of who becomes the African Footballer of the Year, where does he feature?
I'm not sure. You know, there is this thing about SEO, search engine optimization. If you go and check now, you type in Osimhen, he's done bigger things than any other African player. Currently, I mean, in the past few months, he's done the right things at the right time, scoring goals, always in the news for the right reasons. We talk about discipline, and yes, maybe a couple of times, maybe Osimhen had maybe not done a couple of things that we expected he should do a lot more better. But in terms of what he's been able to deliver on the field, on the pitch, is something that gladdens our heart. Yes, Mahrez, yes, Hakimi, like he rightly did say, but we're talking about someone that had done, put himself in a conversation that greats had already been in, like, for example, Maradona, something he did 33 years ago, and now he's doing something like that. It's, these are just times where we talk about legendary feats. Even if he's not able to replicate same, it's not something for that season. It's
just
something
like when Leicester City won the league. It doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen often. So let's just give it to him. Let's just give it to him.
All right. Okay. So let's bring Ken back into everything now. Ken, I just want to get to you. And Jimmy has pointed us in the direction we want to go. Our next port of call is what is going on in Algeria. Talking about the under-17 lads. I want to get your thoughts. They've been able to secure passage to the next round, which is good. I mean, that's the essence of tournaments like this. But what do you make of what you've seen so far?
I see a team that last week we discussed about the team individually exhaustively on this show. But going over there after that first win and that loss to Morocco, we thought it was what is really happening. These boys have been wasteful. We know Ogbade. Ogbade is one tactician who put every detail into his job. He's not the type that will say, you go and run 200 times around the field. He's a breed of the new coaches that are coming on. So here is a team that plays beautiful football. Here is a team like whatever, but they seem to lack that finishing touches. They were scoring goals aplenty, when they were in preparation for this tournament. Whether they got to Morocco, I think somebody mentioned it last week that it is more difficult for us. We've just won the AFCON, I think about twice in Africa, but won it 5 times in the world. Like it is easier for us after qualifying to win this World Cup than here because of some African factors. I don't want to start enumerating on those ones, but we know what those factors are. But the thriller against South Africa yesterday was something that's been celebrated even by CAF, online everywhere. The team showed character, came back. It was a must-win, and they did that. And the celebrations that followed after that was something else. But then the job has not finished yet. They are just in the quarterfinals. The aim is not to go and win this tournament. The aim is to qualify for the World Cup. And after then, you can see the true Nigerian under-17 champion. Started by the man who is the coach of this team now. When in 1985 he led that team to China, to win the first ever. Then it was the FIFA under-16, not under-17 tournament. It was later on they now changed it. I think it was Kodak then, FIFA Kodak under-16 World Championship in China in 1985. Today Ogbade is now chubby and round, and then his brain is working wonder. But like we said, this under-17. How many players can you discover from Nigeria? Even those that did not make the team, how many of them do we have in our database to reach that? Exactly. By the time they mature, because the trajectory of development is different from every player. Some mature early, some mature late. Somebody like Didier Drogba didn't mature until when it was about 27, 28, when he has started playing from lower leagues. So some there, the longevity, some will just come in like a passing phase in the first 3 years and fade out, while some will still remain. But what is crucial is identification of the talents. They will not take it from there and develop them and make them the Super Eagles. Nigeria has the talent, has the ability, has the population, has the resources to win the World Cup. That should be our aim. And this, at the under-17, is at the global level where you start. Of course, you start picking them from age 8, 9, 10. By 12, our clubs start developing talents. our children don't get developed at clubs in Nigeria from age 12 because we don't have the resources. Instead, they go to academies, and most of these academies are just a coach carrying them to go and play football. Not all of them have that particular facilities that we have maybe probably in Jos and some a few other places. So the journey for us starts now because that is where we want to go to. We want to win the World Cup. We should not shy away from that. We can't say we cannot do it. In 94, in our very first World Cup, we were almost there. Forget that we lost out before the quarterfinals. We were almost there. If we had beaten Italy that narrowly beat us, went on to play in the final and lost on penalties to Brazil. In Bulgaria that we beat, went to the semi-finals and we beat them 3-0. So I tell you this, if we were good enough in 1994, what are we talking about? When we go to the next World Cup? But the journey starts now. This team, we've seen them. They've shown character. They've shown character. And that is what you are building in the team. While you are honing their talent and developing them, the team spirit, they understand the synergy between what they have to and carry out the instructions of their coaches. Why? Personally developing, which is the key thing here, is what we are seeing. We see a team that will move on. Like, I don't care if they don't win this tournament, like I said. We have seen, Jimmy just mentioned the local reality. One of those boys are there. The team is filled with talent. And I tell you, the future of Nigerian football, if well handled, is bright.
All right, I agree with you. Not just the boys that are playing now. Some of the guys who didn't even make this team, we should be monitoring those guys. I want us to see just a confirmation for our viewers who probably didn't get to see the results. I'm very sure it's going to come up on your screen. What happened yesterday? And I'll let the guys, pitch in with their thoughts. And Ken has already referenced that thriller of a game between Nigeria and South Africa. The Golden Eaglets came back twice and won that game 3-2. Hopefully you get to see confirmation of the result. And Zambia, that appeared dead and buried, did themselves some good because some best losers would still advance. So we'll see. Jimmy, let me come to you quickly. I agree with Ken that it's not winning at all costs.
Definitely.
I do. But if you still don't qualify for the tournament, nobody's going to remember you.
Nobody. So I think that, yes, Ken has said a lot, and he's right. But we do need to qualify for the World Cup because we've seen that there have been times we didn't win on the continent, but we went on to win at the global stage.
Which is true.
So, which is very, very important. Qualify first, but we know that Nigeria is a competition team where our players get better. They get better. I mean, you look at it. The first match we had, Laiteke, he came in, played the penalty. He lost, right? But I mean, yesterday we just saw that this guy seems to be he's beginning to gel, and some of these players are beginning to gel in. Maybe we are not too convinced about the ability, especially when we know, okay, Unduka Ugbade, understands the science of football, talks a lot about his players understanding it. They have shown resilience, but maybe they have not shown the total character of that team. But we can see clearly that we need them to progress because it is in progressing that we actually can be, confident of their abilities moving forward. We've seen some of these players, we tend to lose them when they don't qualify for major competitions. We tend to lose them because we feel they are not good enough.
The spotlight is not on them anymore.
The spotlight is not on them, so we tend to throw them, more like throwing away the baby with the bathwater and all that. So I think it's important for them to do, qualify for the World Cup, whatever it takes. Even if they don't win the World Cup, which is important. We've seen most times we talk about progression, we talk about nurturing, and we tend to miss it because we have this sense of, momentous gains. Okay, the minister is there, the FA chairman is there. They want to win to prove a point. This is not about proving a point. It's about going back to the grassroots, get it right from secondary school sports, under 15,
doing things now,
under
having
17,
the future in mind.
Having the future in mind. Because we've gained a lot. We won 5 times for crying out loud. But now we need the developmental stages to be gotten right so that from nurturing, we get it right and it becomes a systemic, structured thing that we can always, fall back and say, we've done it right. We've got it right.
All right, so I know it's not winning at all costs. Yeah. FIFA didn't create these tournaments for you two. It's developmental. But what kind of outing in Algeria would you consider to be a successful one? Okay,
we talked about this last week, and I still maintain, I'll still stand on it. Let's just make it to the World Cup. Like Jimmy rightly puts it, you want to be able to, moving forward, look back and say, yes, at a certain point in time, we were able to get this thing right. This is the first time in a very long time, if not ever, that I would see the lineup for the boys going to play the under-17. I see them and I'm just happy. Because I was sure. Okay,
you're happy because they actually have traceable records. They're in school, you know. Okay, this person is in this school.
Aside from looking young,
yes,
exactly.
and we used to watch before the China Kids Cup. And we see these children. I remember back then, a couple of Nodi, and remember then I've seen you before. Oh, you were here the last time out. Oh, okay, yes. Because we're able to track these kids, and we know that, yes, look at this at their real ages. You know, and that's a good one for me. And what these boys play, yes, like Jimmy rightly puts it, they are yet to gel, but we've always been a competition team. As the competition progresses, you get to see the best of our players. And somehow, like you rightly put it, they came back twice yesterday. They've not had problem creating chances, just putting the ball in the back of the net. And with the way they are playing, I hope that they make it.
And I mean, most importantly, we have the under-13, the under-15, the future Eagles,
exactly.
Right? So what that means is we should expect a conveyor belt from the under-15. Production line should go on from under-15 right on to under-17, traceable with a database. I remember when we were having Lagos Junior League where there was this large games where every one of the players, they were supposed to be students, registered. They have this last gems, Lagos State, a verification database where already, if you are not a student, you're not qualified to play in the Lagos Junior League. So these are the things that we're talking about. We need to start working on these things.
We should not only be concerned about the immediate gains.
Exactly.
So because now we have to talk about the under-15 promises. Some of these players actually played in the under-15 promises. So what is the linkage between the under-15 promises and the under-17? If there's no linkage, there's a problem.
There's no
if there's no linkage between the under-17 and the under-20, there's a problem. Under-20 right up to under-23 and the senior, senior team, there is a problem.
And all of that plus ensuring that you qualify. Because I've seen an under-17 team that went on to win the World Cup.
And they were totally disbanded.
Very good set of players, but didn't qualify. This Victor Osimhen that we're talking about is a member of that, and probably is Victor and Samuel Chukwueze that the ones that we are talking about. But the rest that I feel are good players. But because we've not been able to spotlight them properly and some of those things, like Jimmy said, a lot got lost in transition. So I hope that with all we've said, the boys will also do themselves a whole lot of good by qualifying for the CAF, for the World Cup, World Cup. All right, guys, let's move on. We could dwell on football. Ken has been very eager to talk about this, so let's quickly move on. Let's talk about the Madrid Open. Arena Sabalenka defeated, coming as a surprise to me, actually, Iga Swiatek to win. And today we're going to be seeing the boy everybody's calling the prince now, Carlos Alcaraz, will be up against Jan-Lennart Struff. But Ken, you're seeing the pictures on your screen. I want to ask you if you were surprised. She's tried a lot against Iga Swiatek, but this time she got the better of her opponent and she's been able to lift the trophy.
Iga, what do you say about Iga? Iga is the best female player in the world now, and then every player panics when they face Iga Swiatek. But then Sabalenka says, "This is mine. I've won this before." And then on clay, some players adapt to certain surfaces. But the beauty about tennis is when you are there, you are on your own. In fact, your coaches are not even allowed to talk to you while you are on court. They would have done all their coaching before you start. When you look at your coach and then he gives a sign, they tell you, guy, that is not what you are here to do. You are on the OY Association in Nigeria. You are on your own. You understand? So this is great for Sabalenka. She's been up there trying to upset the apple cart. Don't want to see just one person winning all the time. Sometimes they say it becomes boring. If the person is not your fan, if you are a fan of that person, you don't care. Like Jimmy used to tease us in Formula 1 when it was vetted. He would tell us it was Formula B. And then when was that teasing when it was now became Formula H when Hamilton came in there. So for this victory, it makes the women team. The women's side of tennis is very, very much exciting because you definitely don't know who is going to to pick it up at times. Sometimes you see Iga in that her supreme form coming in to knock everything off her path. Until she just because she has ascended into that world number one when the number one abdicated, to use that word, said, no mass, I'm not doing anymore, I am off. So basically that is what we are saying here. But then for the male, Carlos Alcaraz. I mean, this is, we are seeing a young Nadal. We are seeing a different Nadal, and he has that attitude. He has that fierceness. He has that awesomeness. He goes there, he knocks everything out. He is not afraid to take you. I mean, there are a lot of tennis players who thought would take over from the, the four top guys that were there in Federer, in Nadal, in Djokovic. But then Carlos Alcaraz came on and said, I am the man. We don't know how many slams he's going to win, but when he is there to do business. So today, let's see what Jan Struff is going to do. They didn't nominate him into the final. He himself played and qualified for the final. So we expect that it's going to be a spectacle. It is going to be a real spectacle. So let's just. I enjoy tennis so much because, like I said, it is an individual thing. You go over there to go and do what you want to do and get it done. So basically, we are going to see, let me say, Carlos Alcaraz, I think I'm giving it to him. I'm giving it to him, but then nothing. It's not about offset. It has to be somebody doing it well at the right time. He is the next big thing. That does not rule out the fact that the Zverevs of this world, the Tsitsipas of this world, the Dominic team are there. Medvedev is there. Even the one, Kyrgios, the Australian, the guy that is whatever. My African. In diaspora, in Francis Tiafoe, with Serena parents and the rest of them all, that these guys are going to lie low. But in the forefront of Generation Next, after these people have left, I mean, the man, no doubt about it, the crown prince of tennis, not just on clay, is going to be Carlos Alcaraz.
All right. Okay. Ken has said a lot. Let me go to Jimmy. Jimmy.
I actually think that, Ken has said a lot about Alcaraz being he's becoming the king now, not just the prince, because at world number 2, he's already threatening the likes of the big three. As of September 2022, he became world number 1. Right now, he's world number 2. Playing against Jan-Lennart Struff, world number 65. The highest is world number 29. And right now, what I would think is they have this head-to-head advantage. There's no one that's got the advantage. It's just 1-1 between the two of them. Now, there's a 13-year difference between Struff, which is, he is 33. Alcaraz has become 20. He's no longer a teenager. So he's becoming a man.
Ago.
I mean,
just
2 days ago. So the question really is, I feel, I watched him against Kacherev in the semi-final. I watched him against Tsitsipas. And what I saw was that resilience. What I saw was someone that had a point to prove. But, Alcaraz, like Ken did say, I'm not just happy that he talked about Alcaraz being a Nadal. Alcaraz has got more, characters, more than, just talking about Nadal, the Nadal in him.
There's
Djokovic.
For
there's also that grace of Federer in Alcaraz. So it's
he has something from all of them.
It's like a complete package. So he goes in there, he does his stuff, but I feel that Struff will be, more, a tough challenger for him. But it's playing on home turf. That's Alcaraz. And I feel that Alcaraz, though, will win, but he will have a very tough challenge from Struff that wants to prove that even though he's 33, he's got something in him that everybody has got to watch out for.
All right. Chio, in the build-up to the French Open, we spend most of the time talking about Rafael Nadal, but unfortunately, this time out, is injured. And you're looking at some of the tournaments he might have to miss. Before the French Open comes, and you're asking yourself, would this man be ready? And Jimmy is already elevating the status of Alcaraz. Let's not call him a prince anymore. He's already king. But you can't. Do we want to dethrone the king? The king is still alive.
Exactly.
So what happens?
That's what I was going to say. But then again, you're talking about a man that has done, I think, about 33 times now, if I'm not mistaken, and easily one of, if not the greatest ever. We still have Novak Djokovic. But yes, injuries have plagued this man over the course of his careers, and then with his age, obviously, that it has become a thing. But he's still the king. And there's one thing I will never do. I'll never write the king off. Ever.
Well,
Even if it's not 100, because that's where I'm going. I'm going to ask Jimmy. Even if it's not 100,
you will play. Trust me. I mean, over the years, we've seen Nadal will be in certain competitions.
Yes.
But he will always be fit for the French Open.
He's always.
Because that's always the brightest chance for him to get a Grand Slam,
Every
right?
single time.
To get a Slam, right?
Yeah.
So most times you see, okay, maybe he misses a couple, but right now we're saying, yes, he's injured and all that, but he will play through
And every time he steps,
Let me throw this at you guys. And I'll see if I can trade that Ken before we go on a break. So now you're saying don't rule out Nadal, don't count him out. Who is the biggest threat to Nadal? Is it Djokovic? Is it the boy Alcaraz?
The two of them, Djokovic and Alcaraz.
But if I understand you, what you're saying is fit or not, Nadal is a big deal going to the French Open.
I don't know. You are asking me the obvious, right? Because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, even on hard court, that is not his best surface. He is a threat to any player. That's Nadal. So what that means is you are talking of his favorite surface.
Yes.
So now we are talking about other players that can actually give him a run for his money.
Yeah.
You don't even talk about Alcaraz before talking about Djokovic. So you talk about Djokovic
first,
talk about Alcaraz,
then others.
then others.
Wow. Wow. All right, let me
Not even Medvedev.
Not even others. Others. Lumped together.
Lumped together.
All right, Ken, let's do this if we can just quickly do this before we go on a break. Ken, the guys in the studio seem to feel, and I agree with them, Nadal is a factor, fit or not. And Jimmy seems to know what we don't know, since he's going to play at the French Open. Forget the fact that he's injured now. Jimmy feels that it's probably resting. But so how is it? Is Nadal a threat to the others, or others being a threat to him? Since we all somehow agree that he's a major factor.
Ken, be nice. Be nice,
He's a major factor going to the French Open.
Be nice.
Yemi, let me just put it this way. Nadal is the French Open, and the French Open is Nadal.
It's that simple.
Oh, okay. Very simple. Okay. I'm not going to get you to say anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, where are our fans here? Let them go. Let's open the lines for them. Because of our fans, I am dropping the pen. I'm leaving you for you guys and our fans, and I'm going to watch this show from here and see what you guys are doing.
All right. Thank you very much, Ken. Of course, probably, hopefully, maybe next time you'll be on this side, of course, doing what you love doing. We'll be going on a break in a bit, but this is just to let our viewers know, as you already know, you can call in, and of course, let's have your views on some of the things we've talked about, some of the things we're yet to talk about. Some of you are wondering when we will talk about the English Premier League, so I'm just going to say calm down. We'll get there. We'll talk about the English Premier League. We'll talk about Pep Guardiola. Talk about some of the other things happening, and if time allows, we'll give a slice of Formula One. Jimmy is sitting right here, of course. Probably won't take it lightly if we don't talk Formula One. So the Miami Grand Prix also in our sights. We'll talk about it later in the day. In the U.S., city of Miami is going to go down. Is it going to be Red Bull all the way? Who knows? We'll see. It's been disastrous so far for Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. And of course, nobody's even talking about Mercedes anymore. Even the principal is blasting the cars that they're using. Is that bad for Mercedes this time? All right. So that's all that we're going to be doing. I'm waiting to get that notch to go on the break, but since I'm not hearing anything, maybe we should just continue from where we are. And guys, let's talk about the English Premier League, and let's see if we can show our viewers the results from yesterday and take it from there. The high point for yesterday for me was Pep Guardiola's side winning against Leeds, and the manager seemingly not impressed with Erling Haaland for allowing Ilkay Gundogan to take the penalty. But Jimmy, these are the results. Manchester City
defeated Leeds United 2-1. Liverpool defeated Brentford 1-0. Crystal Palace lost at Tottenham 1-0. That was Bournemouth. Bournemouth actually losing at home to Chelsea. That was 1-3 in favor of Chelsea. Finally, I mean, Chelsea coming back to do the needful. I mean, Wolverhampton defeating
stopping Aston Villa. Because Aston Villa has been doing well on the streak. Okay.
That's 1-0.
All right. So those are Saturday's results. Let's go on a break. And when we return from that break, we'll listen to Pep Guardiola, talk about his team, and also talk about what will happen later in the day. Will Arsenal keep the fight on, or will everything end maybe after today? Let's go on a break. We'll return for more. All right, welcome back. There's been a switch. Chavilas Abola has left the studio. Okwemi Ajala joins us now. Let me welcome him. Okwemi, it's good to see you. I should say Happy New Year, actually, but it's good to see you, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Yemi, for having me. I'm not Allardyce. I'm not greater than Pep. I'm not greater than I think when you want to say something, I think it was talking about mentioning names in alphabetical order, because Allardyce actually comes before Teta, before Guardiola, and before Klopp, but not in terms of technical input. The wisdom of Solomon cannot be equated with the longevity of Methuselah.
Yeah, and if there was any question, if there was any debate, it was settled yesterday when that game was played at Manchester City won. Of course, let's quickly take this out of the way so that we can listen to our viewers. But let me just quickly get your thoughts. Let me start with Opeyemi. And I'm taking it from, we're going to see pictures from that game shortly, but I'm taking it from the comments Pep Guardiola made. It seemed he wasn't really impressed with Erling Haaland, allowing Ilkay Gundogan. But of course, the young man was thinking, here's his chance to get a hat-trick. Yeah. But he's saying, as far as I'm concerned, 2 penalty takers. Erling Haaland, Riyad Mahrez. If those guys are on the pitch, let them take it. They have better techniques.
Yeah, that brings us to the issue of the age-long issue between profit and profitability and costing. Because the higher the cost, the lower the margin. So now, a player and a manager thinks for everybody.
Holistically.
A player thinks about himself. And if I was a player, if Pep was a player, he would have acted the same way Haaland. For team cohesion, for team unity, he would have done the same thing. But as a manager, you won't see that way. So it's a normal, it's a traditional thing, it's a normal thing, it's a normal conflict in that team. So it's nothing unusual. For Guardiola, he will expect his instruction to be carried out to the latter. Why for Alan, for team unity, for team cohesion, he will have done the same thing. So
and Jimmy, Haaland, I mean, Pep Guardiola said, at 2-0 the game is not safe. You don't do stuff like that. Get the 3-0, then let's move from there.
Like Opeyemi did say, it's not about sentiments. It's about looking at the holistic picture. I mean, coming off the fact that we are talking about the possibility of a new manager bounce and Leeds actually activating that particular one. I mean, it was something very risky. And I feel as a manager that is not ready to run on sentiment, that was the right thing. It was the right thing to say. The taker is the taker. Alan is the primary taker, and as such, I mean, it's not about sentiment. It's not about, okay, you want him to have a hat-trick because you've had multiple hat-tricks and all that. It's just about you doing the right thing for the team, especially when you consider the fact that you have an Arsenal team breathing down your necks. You've got to do the needful. So
and anything could have happened yesterday.
Anything could have happened yesterday. A draw, and, you know, we'll be talking about something
changed. Else. And I agree with guys. They've said it all. And that's how it should be. All right, let's take a look at what will happen today. And that should generate some conversation today. Manchester United wanting to cement their place, and for Arsenal and Newcastle having something to play for. Newcastle knowing that Liverpool and United, everybody breathing down their necks, and Arsenal just wants to keep it going. Maybe, just maybe, City might slip up. That looks very unlikely, though. So these two games, guys, I want to get your thoughts as we expect our viewers to start calling in. Let me start with Opeyemi. Your thoughts on these two games, what you think is going to happen?
I think if Man U had won the other game, it would have been a tighter match for Arsenal. But for Newcastle, I think they have that relief, temporary relief now because of the inconsistency of Manchester United. So Arsenal, a draw in this game would not favor their cause, but I think that is just the best Arsenal can get from St. James's Park. For West Ham United, they have that halo of European Conference Cup semi-final. So for them, they are looking at going to they want to be saved from relegation, which of course, all things being equal, they will be saved. And but Man U are not even have to look at Liverpool, because Liverpool with 6 consecutive victories, they really put Manchester United and under that pressure. And I think that is where the flavor is into this match.
Jimmy?
I don't see Newcastle doing anything against Arsenal. I actually feel that the Arsenal team, they will look at it and feel they are not much under pressure. They are going to end up, becoming, imagine, second at the end of the day. That's the worst scenario right now. And so I think that they'll play under less pressure. And I feel that, like Okwe rightly did say, Manchester United losing to Brighton really has affected, that mentality. Because you look at it, that's a team that recorded a double over Manchester United. I mean, it's not something you really want to look at from Graham Potter to De Zerbi. Right now, they're talking about West Ham. But I feel that we'll have an Arsenal win and also a Manchester United win. I feel that the Manchester United team will come good today. They're inconsistent, but they know how to come good when the chips are against them.
Okay, all right. I've just been told that we have Michael from Baltimore, Maryland, wants to speak to us. Michael, greetings to you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, all right. Seems it's not been. Do try again. Do try again. It's going to be interesting to hear your views. With the few minutes that we have left, it's going to be interesting to know what you're thinking about right now. Is it all over for Arsenal? Are they still in it? Mikel Arteta seems to believe they're still in it, but a lot of people feel it's curtains that City has won. A lot of people don't see them losing right about now. All right, let's switch gears now. But you can talk about anything you want to talk about. We're available. But since Jimmy is here and he loves Formula One, we all do, by the way. Let's talk about what's going to happen in Miami. And first, I don't know if I should do this to you on live TV, Jimmy, but let's talk about the travels of Lewis Hamilton. Let's talk about his travels first, to the point that even the team principal is complaining about the car.
We talk about the man, the machine, we talk about engines, we talk about regulations, the team principal talking about the car right now. And it tells a lot about the story for Mercedes right now. They don't have the best car right now on the grid. You talk about maybe Ferrari and Red Bull having the best cars right now. Those two, that are really, really doing well. And you also talk about the possibility of a Perez and Verstappen really going a fantastic rivalry. We've seen Weber. Weber went against Vettel and we enjoyed it. We saw Rosberg
Hamilton
against Hamilton. At the point we even saw Alonso and Hamilton. I mean 2009 and different years we had seen some of these fantastic racers going against themselves. Well,
I'm told Falabi is on to us. Falabi, greetings to you.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, sir.
Whoa. Okay.
Eaglets under 17.
Okay, we're listening.
Yes, it's a very attacking-minded team. Because if you look at the match against Morocco, immediately Morocco scored, they began to attack. But
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're listening. We're listening.
I've noticed 5 players. Can I mention?
Yes, you can.
Emmanuel Michael, the left back, and Lawali, and also Linus, Agbad, and Light Eke.
Okay. All right. Thanks for
players that have the future for the Super Eagles.
Okay. Thanks for.
Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thanks for your contribution. It appears like Jimmy seems to agree with you.
I actually wanted you to ask how old he was. I mean, he noticed something. He said Emmanuel Michael.
5 players.
Lawali, you just got to notice Lawali, Agadi, Laiteke. You saw in the 82nd minute.
You were nodding your head the way he was mentioning those names.
Yeah, because, I mean, these are players that when you watch the way they do play, you know that they've got stuff to offer. And that's why we continue to talk about nurturing, not just for us to see them play 4, 5, 6 games, and thereafter we don't hear about them any longer. So, Laiteke, Olo Poroko is even in that team who I've seen play.
You know his story.
I know his story. He just played a few minutes, but I know his story quite well. And I know they have fantastic players. Unduka Obade is the one coach that I know understands players, knows how to nurture. And Okwemi is not denying. I
think the beauty is they say in this team, we were well pleased.
Yeah.
Now, things were going, the mission was getting rough. And I think the beauty in this thing was that match yesterday where the team had to come back. So with this now, the veil is off.
Yeah.
So no shackle now. They are free to play. And by the time, I think we'll see an improved performance when we take on the Burkinabes in the quarterfinal. So
and you saw Abdullahi Abubakar and Umar Abubakar. The Abubakars,
they know they had the trust of Nigerians. Exactly. And I think, but coming, you know, it's the other thing when you are good and you can't come back. Now they have done it. They've come back from their adversity. They are back at the war. So I think now there should not be anything stopping them from getting that ticket.
I asked the guys before you came in, what would be your definition of a successful outing in Algeria? What would that be?
Successful outing for us is getting the World Cup ticket. For me, that is success.
Qualifying for the World Cup.
For the World Cup.
All right, Michael from Baltimore here is back. Greetings to you, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, how are you guys?
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah. About the pictures for the Premier League today.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, about the Premier League, I just want to take you back. You know, Manchester United. Okay. Yeah, I'm a die-hard Manchester United. Since Manchester United won the League Cup, they have been on serious losing matches. And I have been, you know, so I don't see them making the fourth position, not even the fourth position for the Champions League. So I'm not sure if they're going to qualify for next year's Champions League. I mean, they should look at what makes Manchester City, you know, the main team of the Premier League, the team you can bank on. I don't know what's wrong with Manchester United. At the last minute, they still look sure holding the ball against, you know, against Brighton. And that is the same way they have lost several matches in this league, in this, you know, Premier League.
All right, I'm told we got to go. So thanks for your contribution, Michael. We wish we really had much time, but we don't. I think this is the way I'm going to do it. Michael has given a blunt assessment of what has happened with Manchester United. So I'll let the guys leave with just a few words on a few seconds. This is not Ten Hag.
When Sir Alex was going, he said, trust your manager. I think that is where Manchester United got it wrong. They never trusted their manager from David Moyes to Eric Ten Hag. So it's not about getting the Arab money. They've signed the best of players, world record signing, but they've never trusted their managers.
All right, trust the process. Jimmy?
For me, I feel it's not over until it's over. I mean, the Arsenal team have got to push on. They've got to push on because anything can happen. It's football.
All right, guys, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. It was really nice catching up with you guys. Hopefully, we'll do this some other time. All right, that's the show today. We do hope you've enjoyed everything we've been able to do. And, of course, we'll be back here again next week to take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. Very enjoyable and fun-filled. All right, I'm Yemi Adebayo. We'll see you again.